Hey everyone, so this video is a build review. It's a guitar I called Fat Tuesday. It's a single cut LP style build, and it was actually my first ever build. But first, a little history. So I started playing guitar in 1981. It was my sophomore year of high school. It's never really very good, and I ended up very distracted by things like cars and cycling and things that high school people get distracted by. Ended up taking a pause for, a few decades. Maybe more than a few. So pro tip, if you want to get good at guitar, don't take 40 years off. So over the years, I talk about getting back into playing. It wasn't until early 2018 that I actually pulled the trigger. Unfortunately, this is a few years after I'd broken my left hand in a mountain biking crash. So my left pinky was like all 180 and my ring finger looked like a coat hanger, and it healed fine, but I'd lost a lot of mobility. So that was something I struggled with, kind of still do. When I decided in earnest that I wanted to get back into playing, I contacted a friend of mine named Kevin, who happens to work for Solo Music Gear. I wanted to pick his brain about guitars, and that's when he asked me if I'd ever thought about building a guitar. I'm like, well, no, of course not. So I went on to buy a used Squier Strat from my local guitar center. But the idea of building a guitar kind of stuck with me, and around a year later I ended up ordering a Solo LPK 75B kit, and that became Fat Tuesday. The inspiration for this guitar was the Music Rising Les Paul series that Gibson made after the Hurricane Katrina disaster that hit New Orleans. Music Rising is a charity that Bob Ezrin and The Edge from U2 started, and you can read more about it in the link below. The guitars were all Mardi Gras themed, and the pickguard cavity covers were made from trees that were blown down by Hurricane Katrina. I'd always loved those guitars. I liked the way they looked. So this is sort of a tribute guitar to those. So right now, Fat Tuesday is kind of a ship of thesis guitar. Is the only thing left from the kit are the body and neck, and I think the tailpiece and jack plate. Everything else is really pretty much replaced. I swapped the pickups with some Dragonfire Alnico 5s, and those were later swapped with Tone Rider AC4s, which are still in there. I'd done this ridiculous 4-way push-pull Jimmy Page wiring nonsense with coil split and all that, but I never really used any of that, so recently I just kind of stripped it down and set it up with standard wiring. The finish is, of course, like a lot of my guitars, Cated wood dye. I had to mix it to get the 3 different colors. I sketched the pattern out on a piece of paper and kind of figured out how I wanted it to look. Then I got a 1-inch brush and I applied the stain using that. Had to let each color dry completely before going to the next one to avoid it bleeding into the next color. Once that was done, it got a lot of coats of poly. The purple on the back is the same as the purple on the front. It's just the top is maple and the back is mahogany, so that's why it looks different. After around a year after I finished the build, I ended up staining the fretboard darker because I just didn't like the pale look. So Fat Tuesday is probably my favorite guitar in my collection, and it's one I'll never let go. It's also one of the guitars that my wife designed a matching shawl for. There'll be a picture of that in the video. The shawl looks amazing, and the pattern's been one of her best sellers. So I'll do a little demo of it. So enjoy. Thanks for watching.